Welcome to DS University. Thank you for choosing the Etatron eMP metering pump to be the solution for your water treatment needs. Today, we are troubleshooting the eMP metering pump. The key areas in troubleshooting are 1. All the eMP LEDs are off and the pump is not stroking. 2. The eMP has LEDs lit, but there is no function from the controls. 3. The eMP is stroking, but not drawing chemistry. 4. The eMP draws chemistry, but does not inject. 5. Alarm LED on the eMP is green. 6. Alarm LED on the eMP is red. And 7. The eMP does not run in either program. 1 pulse per 1 gallon or 1 pulse per 10 gallons. In this video, we cover Section A of the troubleshooting documents. This includes key areas 1, 2, and 3. If these areas do not apply to your troubleshooting problem, please watch Section B of this troubleshooting series for Key Area 4 or Section C for Key Areas 5, 6, and 7. You can find the videos on our website or at the link in the description below. It's best to troubleshoot in a clean area, but if your Etatron is installed, cover your chemical bucket or stock tank so you don't lose any parts. For this video, you will need a 3mm Allen wrench, diagonal pliers or cutters, a voltage tester, small towel, flat blade screwdriver, and a syringe. If you do not have a syringe, you can purchase the syringe kit through Dilution Solutions at 1-800-451-6628 or search syringe kit at dilutionsolutions.com. Part 1. If all the eMP LEDs are off and the pump is not stroking, check the power supply. First, check if the breaker is off. If the breaker is on, the outlet could be bad. Test it with a voltage tester. If the outlet is good, plug the EMP into another outlet to confirm it works. Part 2. If the EMP LEDs are lit, but the pump's controls have no function, reset the controls. First, run a few gallons of fresh water through the supply line. Due to the water meter being connected to the EMP via dry contact, the water meter closes the contact to operate the pump. The running of fresh water cycles the water meter, which opens the contact. This should release the EMP controls and allows it to function properly. If the running of fresh water does not release the EMP controls, disconnect the water meter lead wires from the EMP lead wires. Touch the EMP lead wires together to verify if the interface works. The EMP controls should now be functioning properly. Reconnect the water meter lead wires to the EMP blue wires and put the pump back into service. For any additional assistance, please call Dilution Solutions at 1-800-451-6628. Part 3. If the EMP is stroking but not drawing chemistry, you need to 3A. Inspect your suction tubing, tubing connections, and foot filter. 3B. Tighten the pump head. 3C. Release airlock from the pump head. Please be aware, if any of the following sections from Part 3 allow for the EMP to draw chemistry, you no longer need to keep watching Part 3 of this video. Part 3A. If the EMP is stroking but not drawing chemistry, inspect your suction tubing, tubing connections, and foot filter. Lift the PVC suction tubing, along with the foot filter, out of the chemical bucket or stock tank. Disconnect the suction tubing connections from the foot filter by unscrewing the foot filter tube nut. Set the foot filter aside in a safe place. Remove the nozzle, collar, and tube nut from the PVC suction tubing and set aside. Do not lose them. Make sure any leftover chemical in the tubing or foot filter pours out into the chemical bucket or stock tank. Locate the suction valve at the bottom of the pump head. Disconnect the suction valve tubing connections from the pump head by unscrewing the suction valve tube nut. Remove the nozzle, collar, and tube nut from the PVC suction tube and set aside. Do not lose them. Visually inspect the condition of the PVC suction tubing. If the tubing is cracked, old, or broken, then you need to replace it now. Discard the damaged tubing. Use leftover tubing from your eMP installation to replace the damaged tubing or call Dilution Solutions for assistance on the correct replacement tubing. Estimate the length of tubing you will need by measuring from the suction valve to the chemical bucket. Using the diagonal pliers, cut the PVC suction tubing so that the foot filter will comfortably sit around 2 inches from the bottom of the chemical bucket. Set the remaining PVC tubing aside. If you just replaced your tubing, skip ahead in the video to prep your tubing connections. If your tubing was not damaged, look at both ends of the tube. If either end is flared, use the diagonal pliers to cut the flared portion off. Grab the suction valve tube nut and slide one end of the flexible PVC suction tubing through the outside opening of the tube nut. Slide the collar back onto the tube, making sure the collar's crown is pointed away from the tube nut. Slide the nozzle back onto the end of the tube's opening. Push the collar and nozzle together as close as possible. Pull the tube nut toward the nozzle to compress the collar and nozzle tight together, forming a ferrule connection. Reattach the tube and tubing connections onto the suction valve of the pump head by hand tightening the tube nut. Do not cross-thread nor over-tighten. If the tube nut is not securing, recheck the ferrule connection. Pull the tube nut toward the nozzle once more to compress the collar and nozzle together. Retighten the tube nut until secure. Reattach the foot filter tubing connections onto the loose end of the tube. Be mindful of their orientation. Push the collar and nozzle together as close as possible. Pull the tube nut toward the nozzle to compress the collar and nozzle tight together, forming a ferrule connection. Let the PVC suction tubing hang from the pump head as you inspect the foot filter. Do not place it back into the chemical bucket or stock tank yet. Grab the foot filter and shake it back and forth. You should hear a ceramic ball moving freely inside. If not, separate the foot filter into 3 pieces by popping the filter basket from the filter body. The filter seat may stick to the filter body. Make sure the filter seat rests in the filter basket instead to avoid losing the ceramic ball. Set the filter body aside and locate the ceramic ball in the filter seat. If there is no ceramic ball, switch out the current foot filter with a new one or call Dilution Solutions for assistance. Set the filter basket aside. Pour the ceramic ball out of the filter seat and into your hand. Set the filter seat down and use a small towel to wipe the ceramic ball clean. Do not misplace it. While holding on to the ceramic ball, inspect the 2 blue O-rings in the grooves of the filter seat and make sure they are not damaged. Put the ceramic ball back into the filter seat and set the filter seat aside. Grab the filter body and inspect to make sure the small blue O-ring on top of the filter body is not damaged. If any of the O-rings are damaged, switch out the current foot filter with a new one or call Dilution Solutions at 1-800-451-6628 for assistance. Set the filter body down. Grab the filter basket and put the filter seat back into the filter basket. Insert the filter basket into the filter body and forcefully pop them together. This may take a couple of tries. Please be sure not to misplace the ceramic ball. Pull on the 2 sections to make sure they are connected securely and shake the foot filter back and forth once more, verifying the ceramic ball is moving freely. Grab the PVC suction tubing and connections hanging from the suction valve of the pump. Reattach the tubing connections to the foot filter by hand tightening the tube nut. Do not cross-thread nor over-tighten. If the tube nut is not securing, recheck the ferrule connection. Pull the tube nut toward the nozzle to compress the collar and nozzle together. Retighten the tube nut onto the foot filter. Lastly, place the foot filter back into the chemical bucket or stock tank, making sure it is sitting vertically. Part 3B. If the eMP is stroking but not drawing chemistry, tighten the pump head. Over time, the pump head may work itself loose from the pump. To check this, remove the 4 white screw caps on the pump head. This can be done with your finger or a flat blade screwdriver. Set the white screw caps aside and do not lose them. Underneath the caps are 4 pump head screws. Using the 3mm Allen wrench, tighten the 4 pump head screws about 1/8 turn each. It's best to tighten in a crisscross pattern. Finally, reinsert the 4 white screw caps back over the pump head screws. Part 3C. If the eMP is stroking but not drawing chemistry, release airlock from the pump head. Locate the air bleed valve on the upper left portion of the pump head and open it by turning the valve counterclockwise. Remove the bleed-off tubing from the air bleed barb and set it outside of the chemical bucket. Using the syringe kit, slide the 4mm adapter of the syringe onto the air bleed barb and draw the plunger back. Chemistry should enter the syringe. This may take a couple of tries. If no chemistry enters, call Dilution Solutions for assistance. Eject the chemistry from a syringe into the chemical bucket. Slide the bleed-off tubing back onto the air bleed barb and place the tubing back into the chemical bucket. Now close the air bleed valve by turning it clockwise. Start the eMP and run a few gallons of water through. The eMP should now be drawing chemistry and functioning properly. We hope this video has been helpful with troubleshooting the first 3 key areas of your eMP metering pump. For more information, please call us at 1-800-451-6628 or chat with us online at dilutionsolutions.com. This has been DS University. Thanks for watching.